Hello and welcome to the Trajikast podcast. My name is trajikast here on the Trajikast podcast here on GoldenPiDgeon Gaming. Today is a very special day. We're going to be going in here and I actually have a guest. You know him. I did his video, 513's Greatest. He's from Cincinnati. 513's Greatest. Big Wil MrBadguy. We're going to be talking to him in a minute. And we were going to talk about something else, but a lot of stuff has been going on. And the first thing we're going to talk about today, we'll see if we can get to something else today, which was the first thing that we were going to talk about, but everything started popping up. The first thing we're going to talk about today is just 2020 and how fucked up it is. Good gracious. All right, and here we are with Big Wil MrBadguy. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, how you been? How you been?
Dude, I've been, it's been stuff going on. Every time we, look, the first time, I tried to get you on the show last week. Something happened in Cincinnati. One of your friends had passed away.
Yeah. He was shot up 10 times, and he was an artist as well. Lulu Bundy, what we call him.
Lulu Bundy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and it just like us, every artist cross each other in Cincinnati, where we cross each other.
Yeah.
We know each other, we talk and everything, but he's still a person. And his death, it kind of hit me hard because, we're artists, but we also are people that talk to each other. We're still individuals, we're still human beings. And, we have families, some of us have families, some of us don't. Some of us have the luxury of hiding away like me, but some of us don't have the luxury of doing that. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we tried to. We was going to do a very controversial topic this week, and we had set this up early in the week, and then somebody in on my side of my internet family, Jala, she was a person that was in
the video game coronavirus. She died of corona.
Yeah, you saw that tweet? Yeah,
I've seen. Yeah,
she was For those of us who know me from the gaming side and things like that, she was in every stream that we did. Me, Danger, Russ, Chad, all of us, and it was just hard. And it seemed like every time we try to set this up, somebody passed away, and I'm like, no, we're gonna do it this time. I don't want nobody else going at any given point in time, and it's just indicative of how bad 2020 has been. Right?
It has been a shit fest. A very bad shit fest with no toilet paper,
with sandpaper was what it's been.
It's just, it feels like it's been going on for years.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's ever noticed that. It feels like it's been like these, even though it's been like, almost 8 months going on. It's August right now.
Mm-hmm.
It just, man, it feels like it's been years. I mean, I knew some shit was gonna happen when, the death of Kobe Bryant was.
Yeah, that was in January. The year started off with Kobe Bryant passing away.
When that happened unexpectedly, I just knew oh, this is gonna be some shit this year, and I just felt it. And then it was like after that, more stuff started happening. And then, coronavirus went out of rage. I was supposed to go try out for Big Brother. I tried out 9 times in the video, and I was going to actually go out and physically be face-to-face with CBS. And before I get on the plane, before I go on the trip, they cut that all off.
Yeah, was that when they did the restrictions of everybody flying? Like, nobody can fly out of certain areas?
Everything. Even CBS had sent the tweet out and said, we're sorry, but we shut down all the tryouts, the physical tryouts, because of the coronavirus. And I was like, oh shit. It was like everything was just hitting. It was like watching a bad game of Jumanji.
That has been a meme.
It was a very bad game of Jumanji. I don't know if that shit is real, but somebody playing that shit right now. Yeah, and it's like, it was really fucking with me. Like, only good thing I can say that was really good about this year was seeing Oprah Winfrey fall when she said balance. That was it. That was the only good thing for me. I was like, There you go, Mike. There you go, Michael. You needed that one. You needed that one.
Yeah,
but other than that, this whole year was just, it's terrible, man.
Yeah, the Jumanji thing, I've heard so many jokes about whoever the fuck is playing Jumanji right now finished the fucking game. It's just been bad. We started out with Kobe in January. We've had this economic collapse where everybody's lost their job. Because of the pandemic that's going on right now, and everybody's passing. A lot of people are passing away. I know you've had your medical problems, and you had a lung condition. You still have a lung condition, and you're one of the people that are affected greatly by this disease that affects people's lungs.
Yeah, my doctor. It happened like 3 years ago when I got affected, but it's doing what it's doing. But the doctors that handle with me, they're high priority right now at the hospitals. Like I haven't even been to a doctor appointment because the hospitals are shut down to help out to fix this.
Yeah.
So like the main doctor that deals with lungs and everything, he pretty much he can't do anything with me as of right now because he's got to deal with patients and what's going on because it's bad. It's like, people have their weird conspiracies and everything, but like when you go to the hospitals and you see this shit, coronavirus, it's real. But people don't understand how it can affect your soul and affect people around you. People think that, I'm safe. No, we don't know anything about it. We just don't know shit. We just know what we know, that people say it's the flu, it's this. We don't know. It's like walking to Resident Evil, man. Like, you ever thought about, for real, it's like, hey, you ever thought about like how the zombie apocalypse starts? I think this is how it begins. It's a lot of idiots that just be like, T-virus is not real and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, we got a city full of zombies. And, that's the way it is. It's like, that's how people are acting right now. Like, they have the power.
Well, when it comes to coronavirus, it's three things. People just don't want to accept that something is going out there that they have not decided is happening, because there's so many, it just killed me because I'm sorry, probably too soon to say that phrase. There were several when shutdowns, and they were saying that we had to socially distance, and they were stopping mass gatherings. There were several preachers out there who said that, no, I believe in Jesus Christ, and we're gonna have church open. And then 3 weeks later, like the pastor died of coronavirus.
It's the lack of human empathy. Like, it's like people don't think that, okay, if we don't have the same religions, we don't believe the same things, you're still a person. You're still a human being that walks among this damn earth. Okay, so it's like, if I could prevent something from taking you out, regardless of our beliefs and our race or whatever, I don't want you to die because of me. That is something I don't want to do. I don't want that to, you call it out, you call it out. A lot of people call this coronavirus and it's getting their behinds. That's why I say I don't think you should call it out. I think you should let it be. Like, if you don't believe it, don't scream and holler about it, because it will find you. It's something in this universe.
Yeah.
I guess because after I died, and that feeling it was the weirdest feeling of all. But I love life, and I don't want to waste it. I want to enjoy it, but I don't want people to, I don't like hearing about suicide. I don't like hearing about people, they just say they're not afraid to die. No, don't mess with it. Don't leave death alone. If I had an opportunity to live forever, I would. If I had a chance, if there was a thing, an opportunity, I'd take it. I'll take it in a heartbeat. Because death ain't fun, man. I'm telling you that right now. You got so much you got to do in your life. You want to live. You want to be somebody great. You want to do great things because you have it all. But this year, 2020 alone, it is a year that stands by itself.
Oh yes, this is a generation-defining year. No one because when like years from now, people are going to be asking you like, what did you do in 2020, and that will determine, are you the kind of person should we be listening to? Because you were saying that there was a lack of empathy on certain people, and you know, a lot of people who have gone through this and have had people who have gone through the coronavirus, the thing that happens every time is that you have to take this seriously. Don't be a dumbass. Take it seriously, because they don't want to go back to their grandmother or mother or children, because there's doctors out there who can't go home because they deal with so many people who have the coronavirus. They don't want to take a chance of bringing it to their kids.
Yeah, you know, it just, you know, even with it came to that, I think his name was Kane or something. I think it was Sherman Kane. You know, even what he said, what he was saying.
Herman Kane?
I've never been a fan. Yeah, Sherman Kane, yeah.
Why you call him Sherman?
Is that his name, Herman Kane?
It's Herman Kane.
999.
That guy? Yeah, Herman.
Yeah, that guy, because he's always been a creeper to me since I was a kid. Because I remember like growing up seeing him as, you know, what he went through as a kid. Then as an adult, I seen some women say some things about him. And, you know, who knows what these people are doing now? The Epstein situation is out and everything, and there's so much levels of that crap. But it's like when he was playing with that and like, oh, coronavirus is not real, and you know, let's not wear masks. And he went to that rally with no mask on. He was dancing and everything. And then all of a sudden,
I don't think he could dance. I think he was just moving his hips. I think he lost that part of his black card a long time ago.
Yeah, but it's like I was sitting looking like you asked for that shit. You really were calling for that to come get you. You know, and I was like, look, some things we just need not to. It's everything I need. I don't want to mess with or deal with because you don't know. And a lot of people have took that for granted. You know, they're taking like things for granted, people for granted. I don't care if you don't like me, I don't like you, but I'm gonna put the mask on so it won't harm you. Yeah, because you're somebody's mother or father, and I may not like you, or you may not like me, or we may not agree, but I'm not gonna be the one to lead your family to feel that pain.
Right.
Because some people are just carriers and don't even know it.
Yeah, this is asymptomatic. Like nobody's having anything. They're just walking around infecting everybody, and they don't have absolutely no idea. It's just insane.
Yeah, and they don't understand that. They just I just don't really like, you know, when I look at people, man, this whole year it's not even finished. That's the scary part. Is like, where the fuck is this? You know, I've never been so ready for December, but I'm ready for that motherfucker right now. Like, come on, December. Bring your wind on.
There's a
meme.
You know what's
worse, man? You know what's worse?
What's worse?
Okay, like, it's so strange because if you ever saw the movie V is for Vendetta,
yeah,
it takes place in 2020 with a virus that's broken America, and then the stuff in V for Vendetta is just so creepy because what's going on right now, from the unmarked cars pulling people and throwing them into the car and all, everything that happens in V Vendetta, it will scare the shit out of you. But then the Mad Max movie, the first one with Mel Gibson, it begins, the whole thing falls apart in 2021. So I'm just hoping that does not happen. Well, Mad Max is good to watch from a distance, but I don't want to be in that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, ain't it kind of strange that movies that were way back in the day, made 20 and 30 years ago, use dates like how despotic would be. That's totally the wrong word. Like how apocalyptic it was going to be, and now here we are. We're on those days, and it was like, man, y'all ain't playing none of this. None of this in what you call it. Not in 2012. Not in that movie 2012. Not in Mad Max movie. Not in the Water World. And none of that stuff. Ain't none of this stuff going on.
No.
And luckily, in the Mad Max one, they were talking about it was going to be a gasoline shortage. But given the fact ain't nobody driving, nobody was driving for 2 months. We should have plenty of gas, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Like, I think that even I was mad at Back to the Future Part 2. I was so mad because it was like when the years finally came around from the Back to the Future and it finally came around to our time, we ain't had none of that shit. except for
not the
like
sneakers.
the people like this right now. This is cool because it's like Total Recall.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever saw Total Recall, you know, talk on the phone like this,
yeah,
that happened in the movies. But it's like everything from Back to the Future, I'm pissed as fuck, man. Because where's the hoverboards? Where's the food you throw inside the microwave? You press a button and it just flares back up. You know, where the fuck is all that shit? You know, it just
the closest we're gonna get to that is Tang. The closest we ever gonna get to that is Tang, and then only what you call it to have that. The astronaut. Hoverboards. We're not gonna have that. We don't have flying cars just yet, but they are vehicles that fly around with propellers. So that's the closest we've gotten to that.
Do you imagine the traffic in the air though? If we did.
Oh goodness, it's what? Have you ever seen a movie called Space Truckers?
I think I probably glance at it every once in a while. I haven't looked at it.
With Dennis Hopper and who's the other chick that was in the movie? It was somebody else. Because Dennis Hopper's in the movie, and like somebody else is in the movie. But you gotta have space lanes, and I don't know how you're gonna have space lanes. But you know, some dumb fools out there ain't gonna give a damn what lane is out there to be in. They gonna go up under the cars trying to passing on the outside. Just like, man, you got all this air out here. Why I got driving the lane? Why I got driving the lane? Let me fly all the way over here.
Now kids follow simple shit. It's dumb people right now that just won't follow simple damn rules. Like like New Zealand, right? Mm-hmm. It has 0 cases of coronavirus. And the reason why is because they actually follow the rules of everybody stay locked up. Whatever was going on, they tested. They went to everybody's house and tested it. You know, they have 0 cases now.
Yeah.
And they're number one because the people have the common sense to listen. Well, you know, it wasn't about I don't like you, you don't like me. This virus is killing all of us.
Right.
You know, and that's one thing about it that people don't understand in America. Like, I don't know, maybe just in America, we selfish as fuck, man. Oh, mentally, yeah. We're selfish individuals.
Unfortunately, that's true. I mean, and another thing is that, unfortunately, some people believe in science. Science is science. There's no believing in science. Science is science no matter who does the science. Science is repeatable. Belief is not. Sorry to say it, but
even with the Spanish flu, I mean, history
that started in Kansas. A lot of people don't know that the Spanish flu. They named it the Spanish flu, just like you have down call it the China flu, the China COVID.
Yeah.
The Spanish flu started in Kansas. It didn't start in Spain or Mexico or anything like that. It started in Kansas. They just named it the Spanish flu to get the heat off of Americans and called it the Spanish flu to have people mad at Latinos and Spanish people saying that it started over there. It didn't start over there. It started in Kansas. Didn't know that, did you?
I believe you. Because I don't know why, but I sat down and watched Jurassic Park these past 2 days. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I haven't seen since I was a kid. So when I sat down and finally watched that shit again, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to say it. It all stuff from white people don't leave shit alone. Just leave the shit alone. Quit trying to grow super shit. Quit trying to make super shit. Just leave it alone. Just let it go. The whole dinosaur thing just went out the door, man. I was like, man, they'll have the coronavirus.
To use another movie analogy, it's like Under Siege 2. Because in that movie, it was this dude. Like, have you seen Under Siege 2 with Steven Seagal?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, right. I've seen the first one when he was a cook.
Yeah, well,
then the second one, yeah.
Second one he was a cook, yeah. And it was the whole thing. Like, they had this whole missile thing to shoot people like out of the sky and whatever it was. And somebody asked like, well, why does this exist? and it says that, well, normal people don't make stuff like this. Sane people don't make stuff like this. You know, there's nothing wrong with a laser. There's nothing wrong with a satellite. But you combine it to blow stuff up, there's something wrong. You know.
Yeah. Like for example, when it comes down to like, you know, superheroes and everything else like that, when it comes to even just with movies, they tell us stuff that we do not want to listen to. We're trying to avoid that so much that it just like it tells you shit. Like 2020 scares the shit out of me now. I've never been scared of too much shit, but I mean, it just like I'm sitting here like, from the racism to even racism didn't take a break. Like, you know, racism in America just it didn't take a break at all.
They shut down gyms. Look, they shut down gyms. They shut down churches. Racism still going strong during the pandemic.
Oh yeah, it's the strongest. It was like racism said, I don't give a shit about Corona.
Oh,
you know, it just went to another level of, cause like, okay, like when George Floyd, which even the killings of unarmed black people, which was off the chain to me, like I was like, holy shit, like who gets up doing the coronavirus thing and still gonna hunt for black people? Like, you're just, why y'all still killing people?
This all they want to do.
You know, even with Breonna Taylor, I was like, she was a woman that basically, you know, and I do wish the justice to come. I do wish for them to arrest those officers. And that's the thing about it. You want to stop riots? It's really easy. Arrest police officers who kill unarmed black people. Simple. If I was the one in control, I'm like, wait, did they do what? They shot okay, arrest them now.
Well, that's
what about no, we ain't got time for investigation. Lock them up right now, keep them there until we do the shit. Because we don't, these people gonna act the fucking fool. Well, it's going down. I mean, it's gonna happen because you killed an unarmed person in their home. You know, that's gonna wake up rage. You know, like people don't understand the human mind. You know, a human being. It's so, we're so deeply poetic into the universe that you're going to get mad.
Yeah.
You're going to be enraged. Even like, you know, I had a couple white people talk about, well, why people are looting. I said, well, you white people looting in America did pretty good for you guys. And they were like, how can you say that? I'm like, it's true.
Did you lie though? Did you lie though?
Well, yeah, you know, what you think it was a handshake? You think anybody, oh, go on, have our country. No, y'all looted that shit and took it. And then tried to say you discovered it. So it's like, when you look at that, even with George Floyd death, that, you know, you gotta realize that everybody saw that shit. It's just like, and that strike the chord, when you got the whole world doing this shit, you didn't have only parts of the world. You had the whole damn world sparking.
Well, here's the thing about that. Let me stop you there. Here's the thing about that. Remember that a large majority of the population is not working. So everybody was at home. There's a lot of people who were at home and who saw this and when it went viral. So it's like, well, I ain't got to go to work, so I have no problem taking time off to go out here and go protest. And that's how all these people came out. You know what I'm saying? It's going on across the world. So when everybody saw this, it's like, well, that's injustice. Anybody can see that it's injustice, that they shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't have had his knee on a George Floyd neck. But nothing has been done. Nothing has been done, you know what I'm saying, substantially from George Floyd being killed by the police since Eric Gardner. Eric Gardner, you know what I'm saying, they choked him out and he said he couldn't breathe. And they want us, I remember an episode of Cops, which they took off the air. Starting to go roundabout, but they took Cops off the air. And I remember one episode where one dude said that I can't breathe. The cop said, if you're talking, you can breathe. And that goes into the mentality of what a cop's probably thinking, that when a suspect is telling them they can't breathe, like, I don't care, I can hear you, so there's nothing wrong.
I think it's just hilarious of the mentality of the human beings in general, especially like, you know, when as a black, you know, even as a black person, like, you know, I got black and Native American in me, you know, both sides, and that's really a hell of a balance. But it's like when people tell you to go back to your country, I always sit there and I hear it. I hear the messaging. I can hear the silver lining when they say that. When they say that, they're saying basically, you take the abuse that we give you, or leave. And then I'm like, leave where? Go back to a land you never met, you never seen, and then on top of that, you're telling me that you want to abuse me and hurt me.
Well,
that's what you're telling me.
Two
and
things
then you
on
want to
that.
go along and control. I don't like that. It's weird.
Now, well, two things on that. How you gonna tell me to leave the country when my ancestors have been here longer than some of y'all?
And built this country.
Because think about it,
so
there was still people coming over all those years, but all the slaves that were already here building up shit. But you're gonna tell me to go somewhere else, but my lineage is longer than this country. No. You go and you go find out where you want to go. This is our country.
Especially me, because I took the ancestry thing, and when I found out how much Native American and black and everything was in me, I was like, I'm sorry. That is like a confusing Chinese question to me. You know, that's a fucking Chinese riddle. When somebody tell me to go back where you come from, like, wait, that's a problem. More percentage of me has been here before you were here, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
So you gotta find a new thing, you know, a new type of level of what to say to me. And, you know, and I tell people every day, like, all white people ain't bad, but it's enough of them, and it's like.
Well, the same thing with cops.
Yes, just with cops, right? Like, I wanted to be a cop when I was a kid, but I wanted to be a cop like Cobra. You know, I wanted to be a cop like, you know, Cobra was a gangster cop. I'm sorry, that was Sylvester Stallone. That movie was the most gangster shit. I'm sorry, that was the trillest cop ever. I want to be a cop like him. I want to be a cop like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. I don't want to be these cops.
Didn't Sylvester Stallone, when he played Cobra, fight against white supremacists in that movie?
Yes, he did. He fought against the guy that was they were serial killers. They were murderers that would actually kill people and leave on display. And he had to figure it out. But then they had their own people. There was one of them who was also a white supremacist. They didn't know, but she ratted out the witness that saw them. So that's why the whole movie. You know, I'm telling you, like, I can watch that shit a lot, man. I can just sit down, like, if I just sit down, just like analyze that shit for a minute. That movie hot, man. That's like one of the loudest movies.
Well, speaking of analyzing something, before we started on police brutality, you said that, you know, saying like superhero movies are trying to tell you something. It's just amazing that police officers, they go around. I know you, when we met in Cincinnati, you know, a couple of years ago, you was running around with a Punisher shirt on. Police love to go around with the Punisher shirt on as well, sometime with a Bluetooth or a Bluetooth in the symbol of what you call it. But the question I have for you is that, do you think, what makes the police think that the Punisher is on their side? Do you think the Punisher will sit there and see 5 officers sitting around choking out someone, an innocent person, and be on the cop side?
This thing about with the Punisher, people knew. The Punisher is more real than any hero. And the reason why, because Frank Castle was a normal man that did the right things, and when it came around to that time, his family died. They left him for dead. So when the people who were supposed to be in the leadership of doing the right thing, the law didn't do it, he insulted them and became the Punisher. Frank Castle died and became the Punisher, where he punished all. You know, he would have he would, like Brianna's people, the cops.
Yeah.
He took them out like Thanos. He was like, nope, you're gone. He took George Zimmerman out. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how the Punisher rolled.
Right.
So, you know, when I see people like wear that, like when I see cops wear that and that symbol, I'll be like, they really make a mockery out of it. Like, you know, they don't really know the Punisher.
I think
it's like going around wearing stuff and you don't know what it really symbolizes. Like that Punisher symbol is deep. You know, it just.
I think there's some officers out there that when they see the Punisher, it's not that they're fighting for justice. They just like the violence.
They like the violence, yeah.
They just want the violence.
They have to understand, the violence from Frank Castle was violence that was given to him by the law not doing its job. That's by losing, he lost his whole. What do you think a person would do if they watched their whole entire family murdered, and then you thought they were dead? You better be scared because you thought you killed something and it came back. That is terrifying. That would scare the shit out of me. Like, I thought you was dead. Now you come, and the Punisher, they just rocket to be rocketed, but they ain't who the Punisher really. Nah, it just wouldn't be. It's like a Nazi wearing a Superman symbol.
Red
Why
Sun.
you doing that?
Actually,
take that shit off. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, there is a story called Red Sun where Superman was a Nazi.
Yes, when he get raised by the Russians.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that one. I love that one. I love that one underneath the red hood.
That's Batman. That's Tony Todd. That's Jason Todd. Sorry, Jason Todd. Under Red Hood is Jason Todd.
Robin got killed by Joker.
Yeah, he was killed by Joker. He was brought back by Superman, Superboy Prime's punch. Long story.
There's different stories of that though. It's like because the one I got was Ra's al Ghul took his body and threw it into the
Lazarus pit. The Lazarus pits. Yeah. It's several different stories. How he came back the first time was through a Superman Boy's punch. The only reason I know this because I follow a channel called Comics Explained, so all those stories I know most of them. So
I love the different stories. Like that's one thing I was like thinking like when I look at how like even this year, like 2020, even superhero stories still win. There's one thing that's making money. There's two things making money. It's comedy and superhero movies. The only things making this. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Netflix right now, they have a load of all these comedians that I've never seen before. But Netflix is like getting people. That's what I'm trying to get things together, get noticed with them, and then they got the superhero things popping up. They got a lot of superhero movies from Umbrella. That's the thing that is winning. But if you look at it, you're like, they're pulling all this shit that's going on right now. They're putting it into these movies now, like the symbols are like the movie Watchmen that come on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
That whole series alone, that season alone, was based off the massacre that happened with the Black Wall Street.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And just like, oh no, and they all have reparations in the thing. It's called restoration. It's like a little bit mixed of reparations and everything, but it's only given to descendants of the ones that were actually, black people that were massacred around that time and everything else like that. But then they had poor white people mad, which they started doing some things. And one thing in there taught me was that the white supremacy name is not dead. It just changes its name
to the cops.
That's not what it does. You think people like, well, the KKK, yeah, the name is dead, but they changed the name.
They
that's all you gotta do is find that name out, because that whole season made me look at it like, wow, whoever made this is gonna get some heat.
I think there was actually on my Twitter feed, I think it ended up being a story. I think somewhere on my Twitter feed or somewhere where there was some story about how the Ku Klux Klan either gets people into the Ku Klux Klan, then say, okay, you go be a cop, or go recruit to people from the police department to take on their views to go do things.
Yeah, because they were cops, and then they had to cover up their faces. Cops had to cover up their masks because they were out there doing, getting criminals, but they can't let people know who they were.
Yeah, I mean, the cops. I mean, they've been covering up their face for years. This is not the first riots. Like when it comes to George Floyd, this is not the first riots they've been involved in. There have been riots like every other year because somebody else passed away, and they're just getting. I don't want to say getting better at it, but it's always one thing or another that the police know how to disperse a crowd, whether it be in less than peaceful means or in very violent means. Like when it comes to these recent ones, you've seen people losing eyes and just losing eyes, being maimed, and from all the stuff that's going on. That means they've been ready for this for a long time. They've been meaning to do this. You don't accidentally shoot somebody in the eye with anything. If you're not looking down the barrel of a gun when you're shooting, that's negligence. And I don't think any cop has been reprimanded for anything like that. And I've seen several people that has happened to where they've lost their eye.
When I see with that, this is it's kind of weird to me that, okay, the people got mad about having masks and they were at home and they're protesting. But they went out to protest with guns, which I don't understand why. Like, if you're protesting about not wearing a mask, if you not just go there not wear a mask, why the hell are you carrying guns?
Violence. That
never that even go into the equation of your battle or your fight. You know, they're not taking your guns away. They just say wear a mask, and you got pissed and decided to go out there protest with your guns. Now, did the cops mess with them? The cops didn't even mess with them.
Nope, did not touch them at all. Was not a problem. Although those people had guns going up to public officials, with guns, talking about open the country back up.
Or that's like intimidation. Now, if you look at the protests, people were out there protesting, and when they were out there protesting, they didn't have no weapons.
No weapons. Still got shot at.
Escalated. Huh?
And they still got shot at. They got shot at with tear gas. They was brutalized with the billy clubs and the staffs and the sticks and all the violence that was going on. It was wild out there.
It just made no sense to me, man. It just really didn't. And I look at that every day, like that's hypocritical as fuck.
Some people will say that's how the system is supposed to work, because how is it that these people are protesting protesting like they don't want to wear a mask with a virus out there? You know what I'm saying? The police are being put in this situation where they have to be around people who don't want to wear a mask to not combat a virus. To be in front of these people who may be virulent in themselves, and then sitting there have to take it. No repercussion. Nobody's mad at anything that those protesters did. The police are not mad at them. It's like, okay, y'all just go ahead and flail around all you want. Oh, you got guns out there? Go ahead, fine. But then when you protest the violence that cops do in taking a person's life, or even just the constant maiming of people during the protest, the cops want to shut everything down. The reason why is the perception of who's in authority. When you protest the killing of anybody by the police officer, you're protesting the police, who is the person in authority.
That's why it's insulting to wear the Punisher's symbol.
Right. And when it came to those other people who were protesting the mask and wanted the country back up, they were going against the oppressive government, quote unquote, because it's supposedly the liberals or whatever, or some group that they want to put out there to be the people who are doing the oppression, when no, they're trying to save lives. You just don't want to do it because the person you believe in, the person that they believe in, the people who don't want to wear masks, did not tell them to go wear a mask. Because you see, there's a lot of governors
that'd be a good movie.
What?
That would definitely be like a zombie. Before the zombie apocalypse pop off, it'd be the president telling people everything's fine, and then all of a sudden, boom, zombie apocalypse begins. You know, just because it's just everything you're saying is actually true. You know, now just kind of think about putting things together as a puzzle. That's true. You know, it's just there's no opinion about that. It's just facts.
When it comes to science, like, you cannot believe in science. Science is science. Science is science. Because whether it's COVID, the flu, stomach virus, diphtheria, tickleosomosis, or whatever the hell it is at that best of time, scientists are going to tell you how to get it. They'll sit there and tell you. There was this what's called a Daily Show used to do a skit. Did a bit a long time ago about how much fecal matter was on stuff, and it said it's on your phone, it's on everything. Now, people laughed at that, but the science was correct to say that fecal matter was everywhere because of how it was spread in the bathroom. You take your phone into the bathroom, you have a toilet there, you poop in the toilet, the two going to get combined. But you know, people laughed at that, but the science was okay, and then people just basically accepted. And I guess we've gotten like somewhat immune to it, or build up resistance to it. But when it comes to COVID, it's the same thing. If you go into some place that has COVID around, you touch it, you used to be around it, somebody breathe on you or something like that. You know, they don't want to believe it. But it's the same science that shows you that fecal matter is on your phone is telling you that COVID is in the air.
Right, it's there. It's damn near everywhere, man. It's 2020 sucks. You know, it's not even over. Yo, it's not even over. Then we had the fucking Hornets, man. That
oh, the murder Hornets. Oh, god damn it. Luckily,
that came from fucking Jumanji 1 with Robin Williams. The bees, I'm telling you, man. Everything's Jumanji out here. Then that big ass explosion just happened
in Beirut. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was happening in other places too. Like other places getting exploded. I'm like, dude, like, oh god.
Look, we're lucky the murder Hornets didn't happen bigger.
Just breathe, man. Just like a moment where there's nothing. Just one day of nothing. I don't want to hear Trump talk. I don't want to hear nothing. Just nothing. Just get everybody to chill.
There are those days we just don't recognize it because we're still dealing with bullshit that happened the day before. There may be a day where there's nothing going on, and it's like, okay, we're just still doing the same stuff that we did the day before, and it's just, you know. But then, like the next day is like, oh, you blew a tire, you have COVID in the air conditioner, or some shit. It's something going on.
Yeah, it's too much going on to the point to where it's like I'm just overwhelmed with all this shit. Like from the rest in peace things to everything. I'm just like, man, I'm just fucking tired. Like, you know, you ever like be tired? Like you're so tired, like you just want like, man, I don't want to fucking say. I just don't want to deal with some certain shit. It's like it just keeps coming, like, and then it's like everybody's coming in with their problems continuously. It's like everybody that dies needs a parade, and why can't we? I'm like,
we can't even have a parade for the people that die anymore. Like, what you call it? Remember a couple of months ago? Sorry to cut you off, but remember a couple of months ago when we had, like, it was, who was it? Ty Burrell, the producer, Little Richard, and somebody else passed away, and like the same Roy Horn, Little Richard, and Ty Burrell. All three of them died in 3 days.
Yep.
Remember that?
And then Regis and John Lewis, and then the other guy that was he was a civil rights guy. He died too. He died the same day John Lewis died.
So he got Farrah Fawcett. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like, yeah, there was some Fawcett. Yeah, because she died the same day Michael Jackson died,
yep.
And like, I was like, they just moved her shit out the way. Like Michael died, like, oh, excuse us for a minute, just please. Farrah, you gotta chill for a minute.
I mean, it was almost like Farrah Fawcett dead. Oh, you gotta get out of here. We gotta go pick up Michael Jackson.
Yeah, we got Michael Jackson. He died. Yeah, Farrah, you don't have to wait. Just you still dead though, but just wait. Just wait for a minute. Just wait, motherfucker. Just wait. That's how it happened too, you know? Cause like when she, it was like, damn, it was like all these years, man. It just like 2020 made you realize how beautiful the other years were. Just like, oh my god, like don't you just miss 2017? We're normal.
When it was halfway normal. Like being
going to a restaurant and chilling, and you just miss those days. It's like,
what was 2017 that dude face? This thing about it, in Florida is already wild as it is, and I think it was 2015 to 2017 where that dude was eating another dude's face on the sidewalk. Remember that a couple years back?
Yes, and I remember they got rid of that video because I remember seeing the video on YouTube for a short second, and it got took down because I don't give a fuck what nobody said. That's how zombie apocalypse begins. They show you a scene, they show you a moment of it, and then they're like, "Oh, let's pull that real quick." It never happened. But I was like,
well, they add to the face.
The whole town took over by zombies. You know what I'm saying? You know, who knows?
Yeah, the dude was eating his face, man. You know, then what's
right,
called
and then they kept shooting him. And when they kept shooting him, he didn't stop. I'm like, why you ain't stopping? But they shot him in the head. That's when he fell. And I'm like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie though, man. That's why I started like getting up on weapons.
Oh, wait, hold on. I might have to edit this part out. I don't want the police coming to your house.
Okay, thank you. But shit,
man.
Yeah, I ain't taking, man. This 2020 really, really fucking sucks. And not in a very lovable way neither. Just, it's a terrible suck. It's a group with a chainsaw teeth suck. That's how bad it is.
Speaking, and I know that like we had brought this up at the beginning of the podcast, but do you want to talk about it? Was your friend that passed away from the shooting? You want to talk about him for a few minutes?
Yeah, Lulu Bundy. Yeah, he was Lulu Bundy, aka Zay Bundy. He was very talented. Very talented. You know, because I see many. I mean, my mind has always been set like the kid from Purple Rain. I've always been like, yo, Purple Rain has always been one of my favorite movies. It's always my number one movie because it's always of showing the artist going through struggles, performing. It never shows him getting signed, but shows him doing his thing. And there are many artists in Cincinnati who do their thing as well. Everybody has their own lane. They do what they do, but I cannot deny when there is talent. And he did have talent. And I would watch most of the talents, and I would see them to see who is who and who is what. And Bundy had it. There is no doubt that he wasn't, like, if he had the money behind him, because every artist, like, there's a certain amount of money that you have to put behind an artist or the support.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get that silver lining where you get lucky with that video, something happens, everything twinges up and you become great. You know, people look at you, depends on what the platform. But with him, if people would have took him and used it, he was fucking phenomenal. He would actually, like, even though I'm getting myself together and everything, he would be someone I have to worry about. You know, there's other artists that I can say that I look at and I worry about, like, you know, I'm like, you know what, their challenge or this person's challenge. You know, Toon Gang has always been, they have a lot of great entertainers. There's a guy in my hometown named Prince City. Don, he's always been, like, watching them perform was always fun, but it's like I would be like, shit, I have to go on stage out these fuckers. So that's how it would be. Like, I'll sit there and watch them, and then I'll be like entertained. I'll be like, fuck, here we go. So, you know, that's how it was. But that's how it was with him. He was very talented. You know, and it's a sad shame because of the potential and the greatness that he had, and it's like it's snuck away.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing I know is that every artist that dies, any artist, if you don't have a strong team that doesn't know how to handle your brand when you're gone, it's gonna be a shit fest. A very terrible shit fest not to ever want to walk down in. Like, the Prince estate, they're doing an okay job with Prince. Michael Jackson estate, they're sleeping on a lot of people that can actually, like, push Michael Jackson to a higher level. Because I've seen some independent, like, talents do some shit with this stuff they should talk to. But it's like when you're an independent artist and your life is just snuffed away from you, I think it's so selfish. You know, even my friend Scandal, may he rest in peace. He died of cancer, and you know, when he died, I really was like fucked up because that was my homeboy. You know, that was, you know, we had our differences, we had our moments. We did have our, I would say it was more like a Batman and Superman beef. But he was Superman. He was definitely Superman. There was no doubt about that, because he was always kind. You know, he was good. He was all like this. Me, I'm like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? You know, in a certain sense. But when he died, I was so messed up. I even told him he was sick, like, you know, just get yourself together. Don't worry about anything. But he was out there. He was working. He was getting stuff together. He was getting people together and getting stuff. And he was fighting his cancer at the same time. He lost the battle. And I remember just going to his funeral, just being there. Just like, I was the first one that arrived at the funeral home. And the funeral director knew who I was. He was like, oh my God. You big Will, you be on cable access and getting your thing and everything. I'm like, yeah. Like, who you here for? I'm here for Scandal. He's like, he knows Scandal was. He's like, and I was like, Marcus. He was like, oh yeah, we got him down there waiting. Hey man, come on in, man. I know you, man. You know, and I walk. Normally the family's supposed to see them first.
Yeah.
But I walked right in and I sat with Scandal, and I did like that every time we did a show. There was a show, I would come in early. I would be there like 2 hours early. He'd be there, and we'll sit there with politics, we'll talk, we'll cap on each other, whatever, and we get on with performing. And this was a moment in my life where I was really hurt. Like, I was so, because that was my friend, and it was like we had our moments, but he was still somebody important. That's how Zay is. He had potential, you know. And I would watch him. I could see what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? I see most of what they're always doing all the time, because when you're doing stuff and everything, that's what you're supposed to study people.
Right.
You're supposed to study everybody. You know, never try to sit there and think, okay, I'm, you know, even I can say, when I say I'm 5'1", greatest, is because most of the time I did everything on my own. I touched everything there was. Everything I've done, I've never really had too much of help or anything. There was something I got into it. You know, even like when you came along, which, you know, I'm doing a video based on you, because it was just, you know, even like the history between me and you, people just knew that you have so much potential and greatness.
Wait a minute, you doing a video on me?
Like, huh?
You doing a video on me?
Yeah, I'm doing a video. Yeah, I'm doing a video dedicated to you, because it's like. Because of all the things you have done, of just knowing you over here. When I first like met you and talked to you and everything, I was like, you just video game stuff and everything. But then I saw all the stuff that you're doing and how deep poetic you were, and just you're about your shit, about caring about people for real. Like, I can't say that you're not. Like, even when I went through this video. And, you know, I was sick. But I just got a surgery, but you just came to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You know, nobody has never, like, done that on a level of they really care about somebody. When you see people that they show that they care about you, you don't want to let those type of people go in life. You never want to dismember them, or you always got to have a simple way of acting humble and being humble. A lot of people don't do that. They just totally forget. You know, they totally forget the empathy of the individual in life that really shows they care, instead of just talking like they care. Anyone can talk like they care because it's for a good face. But when someone does actually show that they care about you, that is a hard thing in life to get, man. And people don't think those things.
I appreciate it. I know you've given me plenty of shout outs, like, over the years. You know, we've tagged each other in each other's photos on Instagram and on Twitter. And I'm gonna get your social media game right. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get your social media game right. There's a couple of things you gotta do and you wanna get straight.
Because I do so much, man. Because when you're doing so much, you gotta do what you gotta do if you really want to be somewhere in life. And, you know, everybody has something they're doing. Everybody has something they're doing. From video. Whoever thought that one day in life you get paid for playing video games? Whoever thought that shit? You know, now look at it now on social media. Motherfuckers getting guap on playing video games.
Oh, it's not just that.
I love games too. But yeah, one more. Yeah, we gotta. I gotta get everything together so I can get online and fight you on Street Fighter online or something, because.
Oh, you better be glad that video. You better be glad we wasn't recording when we was in that mall. You better be glad we wasn't recording.
Man, I'm so glad we ain't recording. That was an ass whooping. Because I kid you, I still think about the ass like, man, I gotta beat him, man. I can't let somebody just, you know. And I don't want to be like a public, like, you know, I just got a surgery and everything, you know. You know, no. That really fucked me. Like, nah, no, we got a battle. They can't get this go down easy. Like, even in Mortal Kombat, like, I take this shit so serious. Like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, it's like, oh, it has to go down. You know, you can't fuck. You gotta play the game. It's gotta go down. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it just this year, it's a sucky year.
Yeah,
it is really sucky. And Zay, he's gonna be very missed. And you know, people talk about him right now. I had to tell my friend Frankie I couldn't come to the funeral because, you know, everything's going good for me. You know, from the doctors and everything, I'm getting better, strong, and I've been doing a lot more stuff. I've been doing like, I did 200 push-ups recently. That felt good. 300. I'm getting up to a par, but my doctor's telling me like right now they said do not go outside. Barely. So it says special right now. Like, I listen to my doctors, and plus, you know, from going to the doctor, from not being able to go to the doctor because of the hospitals having a shutdown through certain things. And then my doctors that I have, there are lung specialists, heart specialists, and liver specialists. The top ones, they have to be cut off from their clients.
Yeah. Because
they have to work on what's going on here. They got every hospital working on this shit, man. It's not just one in particular hospital. It's like so much. And then the rooms are being like, it's terrible, man. It is what it is. People gonna do what they're gonna do. But you gotta be able.
Yeah, it's 2020 has been really messed up. But right now we're gonna end off this episode of the Trajikast podcast. Wil MrBadguy, Big Will Jackson. I appreciate you coming out. To everybody, if you want to check out more Will Jackson stuff, Big Wil MrBadguy. He got 19 names, but he's one true talent. You can go over to Wil MrBadguy channel on YouTube. You can follow him on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media. You can find him on there. We're gonna head out here on the Trajikast podcast here on Broken Back Gaming. My name is Travis Stott, and until next time, thank you.